Thought I'd give you 30 seconds of uninterrupted epidemic sound instrumental, our pre-dawn Saturday edition of What's Going On, 8 Stories Above Chops. Yeah, I got my cup of coffee. How about you guys? You got a little cup of coffee? Cup of courage? Cup of something? Uh, the most interesting thing that's happened in the last 3 hours and 41 minutes is Mega Millions. They had their official drawing at 11 p.m. yesterday, March 27. And here are the grand prize winning numbers: 13, 27, 28, 41, 62, 16. Yep, just lost Facebook. 2 hours, 2 minutes and 41 seconds into the show. That's why I put the message up on Facebook to come over to YouTube and watch live. Now, if you're gonna, yeah, you can pick it up, go anytime, any place. Just go to youtube.com/FAU for you. The letters FAU, the number 4, the letter U. Yeah, I've been adjunct faculty over there at FAU since 2000, 2003. Wow. Jeez. Yeah. Wrote a book called Principles of Digital Photography and Post-Image Processing. Teaching a class over there at FAU, course by the same name as the book. One of the requirements of taking my class, got to buy the book. Yeah. We're in the book sale business. Everybody in academia knows that. I hold the world's record. Fastest publication by Pearson Education to the adjunct campus of FAU. I was on the faculty for 17 days and became a published author at Pearson Education. And they're not exactly chopped liver. Thank you, Dr. John Harlan, for introducing me to the acquisitions editor of Pearson Education, who sat in his office with me, party of 3. I showed her my book. I gave John Harlan a copy of my book. I have a copy of myself. So I had 3. I made up 3 of my books, spiral bound, kind of a hard glossy cover, front and back. Designed the cover using the techniques found inside the covers of this. It's kind of like a computer science lab manual for digital imaging, academic stuff. And I had a preface: a squared plus b squared plus c squared equals d squared. Yeah, I usually have chapter 1, 2, 3. Then I had some a squareds and b squareds just to be a wise guy. Anyway, Mega Millions had their drawing. We can look at it right here, the official lottery website. There's the numbers. Uh, Friday the 27th. Oh, crap. Excuse me. Yeah. Look at that. I made a boo-boo on the spreadsheet. Oh, gosh. What's the matter with you? The next drawing is Tuesday, March 31. That works. But the numbers 13, 27, 28, 41, 62, 16. Is that what I put in the spreadsheet? Let's take a look. I guess that's right. 13, 27, 28, 41, 62, 16. How come I'm having a senior moment here? All right. I got it. I got it right. I don't know. Must be this late night stuff. All right. So, yeah, 13, 27, 28. All right. Anyway, so in the official, um, I produced this, authored this spreadsheet, as you can see there in front of your very own eyes. Yeah, I even have it sized right. That's the matter. Yeah. Excuse me, I had to have a little sip of my coffee. So if you look down to the very last line, you can see roll over in red. Put a pin mark in the middle, a mapping pin, P-word. So I'm going to do a little reverse pinch. See on the top, Mega Millions. Lump sum. Let's read what's in italics on the top, just so you know. Lump sum payout, after-tax payout, and dollar values are estimates produced by the author. And who's that? Yours truly. Yeah, Jimmy Photo. All data presented have not been confirmed nor endorsed by any lottery, including Mega Millions. I did this on my own in the privacy of Cafe 812, 8 stories above Chops. Just look up and you probably see me looking down from my balcony, looking east. All right, so according to the official lottery balances, you notice the next drawing, which is a rollover from March 27, which was a roller from March 24, which started on March 20, my birthday. Yeah. And there you can see, now if you go up to March 27 on Tuesday, you'll see there's 60 million, the numbers represented by that $60 million jackpot to a single winner, if it was a single winner. And the actual drawing numbers that came up, someone won that one. And see, there's a star there on right side next to the 27,100,000. That's Jimmy's estimate on what the jackpot would pay if you elected the lump sum payment. And what is a lump sum payment? It's the net present value of the future cash flows of the 5% increasing annuity that you would take in order to get the 60 million. So we're looking at the very first line there. And there's a black line right underneath it, which means the lottery flips it over back to 50 million. The lottery officials decided. And see the number 1, 2, 3, 4. So on Friday, March 20, the lottery jackpot was set by the official lottery folks at 50 million. 45 states and 2 territorial areas, the Virgin Islands and DC. So those 47 jurisdictions housing in total about 223,000 official lottery retailers. Can you imagine? That number just hit me by an order of magnitude higher than what I thought. So I thought it was more like 25,000 in 45 states and 2 territorial areas like the Virgin Islands and DC. But no, it's 223,000. You can Google it yourself. It's a quasi connectivity because each state collects, you know, the lottery dollars every time you buy a $5 ticket. Essentially, the lottery retailer gets 5%. So if someone were to whip down a $100 bill and buy 20 tickets, they would come out on 2 tickets with 10 on them. I mean, it could, if the customer wants 20 separate tickets, they can get that. If they wanted in the least amount of paper, they would come out on two slips about that size. Yeah, I have several tickets in my official lottery envelope with my combination lock scotch tape. Here's my 2 slips. I will not endeavor to find out how much I did not win. Buying these lottery tickets is enjoyable when you buy the ticket because, my God, I might win $70 million. There's 290 million to 1 odds that you will not win. Let me be clear about that. The winning odds is 290 million to 1. Actually, slightly higher than that. I won't bother getting into all the zeros. But there's 290 million to 1 odds that you will not win the grand prize. But it's fun to think about. What would happen if you did? Well, I'm going to show you what happens if you do. Now let's go all the way to the bottom because it's rolled over now to 80 million. I don't know this for a fact, but it seems like in the early weeks of the Mega Millions, number one, a set of 50 million on March 20. No one won that one. So it rolls over to 60 million 4 days later. Now that could be a number that's just like set by the lottery, or it could be, or it's caused by a whole bunch of Mega Million ticket buyers. But it seems like it rolls, when it does roll over 50, 60, 70, 80, it's exactly $10 million lumps. So I think that is a number that's picked by the, it's more selected. And once you get past 100 million, everybody seems to, get excited, more excited, and more tickets are sold, more big, more groups decide to buy tickets, all that kind of activity. So then it might be, 90 million, 100 million, 117 million, 135 million. So when it steps over this $10 million step business, like we see 50, 60, 70, 80, it's driven by some formula of ticket sales. The formula, I don't know how that works. I guess I could call the lottery, how many ticket sales, it deserve like $105 million lottery thing. Anyway, it's rolled over to 80 million. That's why it says roll over. We don't know the numbers yet. Wouldn't that be nice? We had the numbers before the numbers. No, no, this is a fair game. It's uh, it's not very easy to win it, but if you do, it'll change your life. So if you were lucky enough to win the $80 million jackpot on March 31st in a couple of days, so that's on Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday night at 11 p.m. And you elected the lump sum. I estimate there would be about $36,100,000, rounded to the nearest 100,000. If you look at the past lotteries, and when the networks ask the lottery what would the lump sum be, and if it gets published, or if the lottery makes their own publication of it, you can Google it. Um, you see that little tiny 45? That's a fixed percent. And it's like 45.21379. It's too, I have that number in there to like uh, four decimal places, maybe. Um, I've um, I've only shown the 45, as far as the column width, because it's an uninteresting number. But if you want to know what the number is, just divide 36 by 80, and you get the 45 point, whatever the heck it is. Anyway, so the jackpot. The other way you do it is you calculate the net present value based on future cash flows. And what are the future cash flows? Well, one would ask oneself, self? In order to pay someone, this would be the question that you would ask a mathematician. Self, if I were to win the $80 million lottery, And it was a 5% increasing annuity. And the lottery winner would get a check on day one, followed by 29 annual payments growing at 5% a year. What would that additional payment be? Well, it'd be 1,204,115. I have calculated that number based on a an insane formula. Oh yeah, divide this, divide that. To the 30th power minus one. Oh man, it's a formula that took me about 2 weeks to figure out. So in this spreadsheet, that's the magic right there. The 1,204,115. That's calculated based on there being an $80 million payout by an annuity. That's a 5% growing annuity. What would that first payment be? Day one, followed by 29 additional annual payments. Add them all up, adds up to 80 million. What's that first payment? That's the hard one to calculate. It's 1,204,115. Now, if you don't declare a lump sum payout within 60 days from the drawing date, and you're the grand prize winner, you get the ticket in your hand, you're going to get the annuity. No choice. You're forced to take the annuity of 1,204,115. That's to take the lump sum, which many people do, I'm told. I've never won one of these. Um, the lump sum amount is 36,100,000. That's my estimate of the net present value of the future cash flows. To say that mathematically correctly, yeah, that's what will go on your tax return. Aha, Uncle Sam, I earned 36,100,000 in 2026. So when you go to get your grand prize, you're only going to get 27,436. Why? Because the IRS has a withholding tax of 24%. There is an income tax on lottery winnings, and the long arm of Uncle Sam snatches 24% of that 36 million. So your actual deposit into TD Bank, for example, or Seacoast Bank, or wherever you have bank accounts, Royal Trust Bank, my old alma mater, Royal Bank of Canada, you actually get 27,436,000. That's what will be the deposit. I caution you, this is not financial advice. I'm just looking at it. Let's say I want it. Oh, so 27,436,000 all of a sudden showed up as an ACH credit. That's how they do it. Overnight credit right into your checking account. They want to know your routing and transit number. And if you're a TD Bank customer in the USA, in Florida, for example, the R&T number is 0670148222. Yep, that's the 9-digit number. 0670148222. That is the number for the bank. If you were to do a wire transfer into the bank, that's what they want to know. What's the R&T number? And then they want to know the 9 or 10-digit actual account number of the customer. I'd suggest calling them and say, by the way, uh, TD Bank, I got lucky a couple of weeks ago, and 27,436 is going to show up in my checkbook tomorrow morning. That's not a typo. That'd be coming from lottery headquarters in Jacksonville, Florida. Excuse me, Tallahassee. Tallahassee. Yeah. It must be in, what is the time? 3:06 a.m. Yeah, you can see it right down there in the clock. Yeah. It'll be 3:07 in 3 seconds. Bam, 3:07. You'll see this clock change. There you go, 3:07. Just had a brain freeze. Yeah, Tallahassee. The state capital is where the lottery headquarters is, where you get the pictures taken and you get your check, and which is like a big facsimile check because they pay by wire transfer, ACH credit, I believe. Anyway, so you're going to get 27 million in your account, although 36,100,000 is going to go when you do your TurboTax, or if your account does TurboTax. Now, that next column, jackpot lump sum payout, is subject to 37% federal income tax. This column is the additional amount you're going to need to pay, because surely if you made 36 million in a calendar year, you're going to be at the very top edge of that maximum tax of 37%. So this column in the brackets, that's the 13% additional tax you're going to have to pay when you do your tax return, because the withholding is 24. Your likely resultant tax will be 37%. They took out 24. That means 13% is floating around in hyperspace. In this case, with an $80 million lottery, or yeah, 80 million if you were to be successful, there's another 4,693,000 that you're going to have to pay out. So, Jimmy, put 4,700,000 in the side pocket in a special account that earns, 4% interest. Truist Bank is offering such account. You can open up a money market account. I don't know if there's a limit on how big it can be. They usually like the big ones. They'll currently pay 4%. I got to think, a flyer in the mail. So if you put 4,693,000 in the side pocket, let's do that. 4,693,000. There you go. Times 0.04 equals 187,000. These these big numbers are great, aren't they? Woo, 187,000. So if you were to just do that, you get $187,000 worth of interest by putting that 4,693,000 in the side pocket, because unless you're a billionaire, trillionaire, a zillionaire, if you're just a regular guy or gal, um, you're going to have to come up with an additional 13%. And you don't want someone knocking on your door saying, Jimmy, you wouldn't happen to have the ability of writing me a check for $4,693,000 for your for your additional 13% FIT. FIT is federal income tax. Yep. Because you're in the 37% tax bracket. Our records say we withheld 24%, and you owe 13% more. 24 plus 13 equals 37. Math is pretty simple. When you extend that times these big numbers, you're going to owe us another 4,693,000. Poor baby. That means the net after all federal income taxes, if you're an $80 million jackpot winner, is 22,743,000, rounded to the nearest thousand. That number is that's pretty close to what it might actually be, based on my estimations. I'm not an official lottery anybody. I'm just some schlemiel that has a spreadsheet here. I've taken the time to make it pretty clear on what's going on here. I've also shown what the first payment is in this particular screen. 1,204,115. So if you're elected to take the, you got 180 days to claim the winning ticket. You can get your money 15 days from the draw date, no sooner than 15 days from the draw date. If you look at the reverse side of the lottery, the official lottery thing where you fill out what numbers you want, it explains you got 180 days to claim your prize from the draw date. 181 days, ticket's dead. It's worth zero. All prizes expire 180 days from the draw, 181 days from the draw date. You got to claim your prize within 180 days. Be safe and claim your prize early. If you want the lump sum, you have to disclose to the lottery that you have such ticket. They'll verify it. And then they'll say, you can come in 15 days from the draw date to collect your 36,100,000. But you got to tell me that you want the lump sum within 60 days from the draw date, or else you're getting the annuity, that 1,204,000. And then you'll get 29 future payments. 1,204,000 you get day one, followed by 29 annual payments with a 5% growing annuity feature. So the next payment would be 105% bigger than the 1,204,000. Yep. So it'd be like $60,000 bigger than that. So it'd be like 1,264,000. And then that's the third payment would be 5% bigger than 1,264,000. And it keeps growing 5% a year. So like the 30th payment, 29 years from now would be like 3,600,000. It's like triple that. That's the magic of compounding 5% over 29 times. Yeah, it grows. Yeah, it's not bad, right? Your annual income grows by 5%, and your first annual it's 1,204,000. So, yeah, You're a lovely young couple. You know, what's wrong with $1 million worth, million two worth of earnings? That grows 5% a year, guaranteed by some major industrial bank, backed up by the lottery. They actually buy the annuity from a. They send out an RFP, and they get a major global banking institution to bid on. Hey, I just got a winning lottery situation here, First National Bank or whatever, and we want you to bid on an annuity that starts off at 1,204,115, and it's a 5% growing annuity where the net present value is should be somewhere in the order of about 36 million. How much would you charge me for such an annuity up front? 35,100,000 sold. So the RFP, the request for proposal by the lottery folks, they'd be looking for a financial institution, a major global one, not just some little corner bank, because they want to make sure that they're going to be around for the because the lottery is liable, could be prosecuted if the annual payments were not made, because the lottery has the official lottery 223,000 lottery retailers around the country and two territorial areas of the Virgin Islands and D.C., Washington, D.C., District of Columbia. So they got these official lottery retailers sprinkled all over the place in gas stations and grocery stores and little convenience stores. We got one little, it's called Sultan's. They're a Turkish family run little convenience store. They're a lottery retailer. Yep. Nice little lady, nice little man, little family owns it, operates it, mans it. MANN. Nice little lady, bilingual Turkish, English, excellent English, even better Turkish. That's right. I either buy my tickets there or at Publix. We happen to be going into Publix, which I'm going to be going into Publix probably tomorrow. I probably got something to get in there. So they send out a request for a proposal for the net present value of the future cash flows, where, where 30 payments add up to 80 million exactly. I have a spreadsheet. I have a dream. I have a spreadsheet. There it is. It's coming up. It's loading up. Oh, I have to touch it. There we go. There it is. Sports fans, let me zoom in on it a little bit so you can see what I can see what you see. There we go. There we go, right there. Now I'm scared to death fooling around with a live spreadsheet on live television because with a touch screen. You touch something, you go double touch it. Oh my God, things start moving and changing. Anyway, so, whoops, you see? Oh, I did it. I started already. Stop it. Yeah. I don't want to activate nothing. It's tough enough to put this together, much less louse it up on live television. Take a little sip of my warm coffee. At 3:21 a.m. and 47 seconds. Yeah. Mark. So I'm going to slide over here. We're looking at line 4. You see the number 4. Oh boy. Can you see the, there it is. The black, in black all the way over on the left side. 1, 2, there's a black line. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. White number on black background. Tuesday, March 31, the $80 million rollover. Now I'm going to start sliding this over. Yeah. So keep your eye. Let's go with this. So it's the top number. There you go. See the 80 million roll over. There we go. We're going to slide right over. Just keep your eyes on the top number. Forget the ones below. That's just in case the lottery rolls over. I can erase those, but I just haven't. So over at the top row. 36 million. That's my estimate of the net present value of the future cash flows. And I'm going to show you what the future cash flows are. Because I calculate the first payment at 1,204,000. Whoops. Oh gosh. Don't start. All right, so 1,204,000. That's the first payment. We're looking at the top line where it says 80 million and the numbers are scooting underneath it. Yeah. So see the second, I guess in my head it would be 1,264,000. There it is. Yep. Because 5% of 1,200,000, yeah. 5 times 12 is 60. Add 60 to 04, you get 64. That's how I did that. My head. Yeah, anybody can do it in their head. Even at 3:23 a.m. All right, here we go. There's the second payment. There's the third payment. The fourth payment is 105% of the third payment. The fifth payment is 105% of the fourth payment. And you just keep sliding along. We're looking at the $80 million, the top line there. There's the sixth payment, the seventh payment. Notice how it's growing. 1,000,008, 1,000,009, 2,000,000, 1, 2,000,003. It's growing 5%. Look at that. Yeah, by the time you get to the 20th payment, which is year 19, remember, because you get the first payment day 1. So the second payment is 366 days from the first payment. So that 1,000,002, your next check, that 1,264,000, that comes in 1 year after you got the first payment. So within 1 year and 1 day, you got 2,460,000 something. Yeah. Anyway, so the annuity, I mean, that's not a crazy way to go if you're a young fella, young lady, young couple. Look at that. Payment number 23, 24, 25, 3,000,008. Now it's 4,000,000, 27. I mean, this payment's going to get up to 4,956,000. 4,950,000. That's almost 5 times what that 1,000,002 was. It's because of the 5% growing annuity. Your last payment's 4,956,308. Now you add them all up, add that whole row across. Those familiar with doing spreadsheets, I've added all those 30 payments. Remember, because you got the initial payment plus 29 future payments. Total 30 payments. That's why 30 is in that last column. That 4,956,308. You add all those numbers across, it actually adds up to $80,112. So my calculation is off by $112. So if I were the official lottery, whatever, which I'm not, but if I were, I would just reduce the last payment by $112. So subtract 112 from 308 and add 4,956,000 to it. So it'd be 4,955,000, you know, 99 something, 8. Yeah, that's all. You notice if I pull this down, mostly, if you could read the fine print on that last column, which you can reverse pitch that and read it if you feel like it. The reason why they're mostly overpayments, that last payment is over by 112 or, you know, $6, $21. There's a couple of red ones where they're underpaid. The reason why it's mostly black numbers is because you round up or round down. Well, you round up if it's 0.5 cents or higher, or you round down if it's 0.49 pennies. We don't know how to pay a half a penny. So you round up or round down. Well, because 50 cents is greater than 49 cents, the likelihood when you do this 5% growing annuity business over 30 cycles um, of rounding up or cutting down, chances are you're going to overpay the lottery by a few dollars. And when you're dealing with millions and billions, yeah, it's like $100 or $50, $80, $9. I mean, look at this. I did a $533 million lottery on March 10th. There was a grand prize winner on March 10th. Can you imagine? This month, March 10th, someone won 533 million. Well, according to my calculations, I would have overpaid that by $11. So that 30th payment, if I were the official lottery anything, which I'm not, would be 33,021,337 instead of 348. And that would have made it exactly 533 million. Yeah, and there's contracts issued and all. I mean, this lottery business is serious business. Yeah, these lottery people are. This is very serious business. It's big numbers, and if you're the recipient of these big numbers, you can afford really good counsel. Yeah, to sue the lottery in case the lottery decides to run off with your payments or something. Yeah, that doesn't happen, but because they're damn near public utilities. Not true, but their reputation is based on honesty, integrity, and so forth. So here we are. We're an $80 million rollover. So that's the spreadsheet, and I've got all the data. Let's see what else I want to show you. I wanted to show you the formula that's under that first payment. So we're going to be at 80 million. So we're going to move that right to the top there. That 1,204,000. Well, I'm going to touch that box with all due caution. I've got a backup of this, but here we go. 1, 2, 3, touch it. All right. Now there's a formula in there that'll choke a horse. So I'm going to touch this little keyboard here, and on the bottom, it's going to show you the formula. There it is. You see that? We're rounding to the nearest dollar. That's what that round, C39, and that cell right there, that 1,204,000. C39 happens to be the 80 million, which goes in there. And it's divided by bracket, 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 bracket. 1 plus 0.05. It's a 5% growing annuity. That's why that's 05. To the 30th power, minus 1 bracket, divided by 0.05 bracket. 5% growing annuity. And then there's a comma and a 0, which tells the spreadsheet round to the nearest dollar. Yeah, I don't bother with, I didn't bother showing pennies. Uh, what's the point? So I just rounded up or down to the nearest whole dollar. That's why it's plus 11. Remember, all the way over there. Since I'm not an official lottery anything, who the hell cares? Why bother carrying it out to the nearest penny when I'm not paying out anything to anybody? So the nearest whole dollar is good enough for demonstration purposes. So when you're wondering, yeah, whoops, whoopsie daisy. So that is how this whole lottery business. So I'm going to shut this down before I hurt myself. I didn't disturb any cells, so we're safe. So you're wondering what we're looking at here. So this is just a print screen. I did a print screen of this portion of the, see where the 80, so I showed what happened on March 17. Someone won a $60 million lottery. That's why there's a line drawn. And there should be a star right next to that 27 million if they elected to. See, they have 60 days to declare that. So actually, we don't know if they've made such a declaration. I'm just saying, if they did, chances are that lump sum would be 27 million. And then on March 20, my birthday, first day of spring, yes, sir, Bob. The lottery rolled over because someone won that $60 million jackpot on March 17th. So on March 20, it rolled over to 50 million. No one won it, rolled over to 60 million on the 24th, on Tuesday. On March 27, it rolled over again to 70 million. No one won that yesterday. So now on Tuesday, I believe, yeah, March 31, which is where we're at right now, because no one won yesterday. We just checked. Remember? We went to the official lottery site. And how do we know that no one won on March 27 with those lucky numbers of 13, 27, 28, 41, 62, 16? Because they're declaring to the world from their official website that the next draw is on Tuesday, March 31st. It will be an $80 million grand prize for Mega Millions. Powerball has grown to 166 million. You can see that right above. The next draw there is March 28th. They draw what, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday? Mega Millions is, or Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. And then Mega Millions is Tuesday, Friday, Tuesday, Friday, Tuesday, Friday, Tuesday, Friday, Tuesday, Friday. Twice a week. That's why I picked Mega Millions, actually. Twice a week. Uh, Less trouble doing Powerball. That's 3 times a week. So Mega Millions decided, I think in May or April or May of last year. So they, as of April 1st or April whatever, they're going to be $5 ticket instead of $2 ticket. We're going to draw twice a week. The Mega Millions is going to go from 25 yellow balls to 24 yellow balls over there in the right hand machine. And the central machine, the balls are going to go from 1 to 70. 1 to 70. 70 little ping pong balls bouncing around in that machine on the left, and 24 Mega Million balls bouncing around in the machine on the right side of the stage, wherever that is picked from. That's a question. What? Where is that actually? Where are those bouncing balls? Where are those machines? Anyway, so that's how we know it's an $80 million Mega Millions on Tuesday, March 31st. Yeah. Goes over the weekend, Monday, Tuesday, bam, another $80 million potential drawing. So that's where I get my information. I get the actual balls, and I do that by hitting the 3 bars up on the top and winning numbers. Then I press Mega Millions. Bingo. And there's the winning numbers. 50, 60, $70 million. We don't know what the $80 million one is. You have to wait till March 31st, right? Next Tuesday. But that's how I just do a print screen right there. I just do print screen and go print screen. And I come up here and I come down there and I slide over like that. And I slide over like that. And there you go. There you got the numbers. Uh, Get the check mark. Save the photo. Then I go to my photo album. Uh, Photo album. And there it is. I crop it down even tighter to just, so I hit the 3 bars up there in the top, which you can see underneath my banner, I guess. And I crop it a little tighter. And I go right here because I make note of this is the $70 million numbers, which rolled over to the $80 million lottery we're working with now. See, I tighten it up just a little bit so that the amount of free space around the balls is equal. And I just, that's it. So now that is here's the numbers. There's a print screen of the $80 million. You can see the numbers are slotted right in there. See the 13, 27, 28, 13, 27, 28, 41, 62. It's right over there opposite the $70 million right there. And that right there, I just do cut and paste and pop that little picture right in that slot on the spreadsheet. Yeah, it's as simple as that. Instead of typing in the numbers, when I first started doing this, I was typing in the numbers. I'd type in 13 space 27 space 30, 28 space. I said, nah, I gotta at least put them in circles. So I just cut and paste off the official lottery site, so I don't have to worry about making a mistake. I just cut and paste right off the official lottery. What do you call it? So, in case someone out there in TV land says, "Ah, you know," I say right up on the top there, I'm not official anything. I don't represent any lottery. No, no, no. I've not been endorsed. I haven't been anything. This is all just fiction, Jimmy fiction. But, to the nearest $1,000, yeah, it's just fun and games in case you're interested. When you call up to the lottery people, if you happen to be the winner, and if you happen to be listening to me at this pre-dawn hour of 3:42 a.m. because you're an insomniac or you're a maniac and you happen to stay up all night, or you woke up real early, or I don't know, or you're driving to Phoenix, Arizona, and you got to listen to somebody. So you went on YouTube live listening to me. Better than just listening to nothing. Yeah, you gotta listening to the same old music over and over. I'm custom. You betcha. And I have a little piece of an oatmeal raisin cookie right here. And if you don't mind, I'm just going to take a little sip of my coffee with my oatmeal raisin cookie. Pretty much explained how you do this spreadsheet business. Nothing to it. My son he was a sales manager at Lexus, JM Lexus, Jim Moran, Lexus, who passed away a few years ago. I had the pleasure of meeting Jim Moran by accident. He literally ran into the back end of my Jeep. He gets out of his car. I get out of my car. He's behind me. I walk over to him on the roadside. We pulled over on the side of Military Trail. He says, "Do you know who I am?" I said, "I think you're Jim Moran. How are you?" "My name is Jimmy Wilson." I put my hand out there, shook his hand. We literally met by accident. He says, "I'll take care of your Jeep," since I ran into the back end of it. I said, "Yeah, I noticed in the rearview mirror you're reading your 3x5 cards. Someone typed out some directions for you, and you were reading the card instead of paying attention to my stopped vehicle, which you plowed into me." No, you know, we're fine, I think. We'll go back and check with Marilyn to see if her and the two kids are okay. Got a little jolt. I didn't see any blood gushing anywhere, so I think we're probably okay. She said, "Oh yeah, I'll take care of your car. I'm in the car business." Okay, my assistant is, so he told me who it was and the phone number. I gave him my card. He gave me his card, and says my executive assistant will get in touch with you or whomever you'd like her to call, and we'll have a driver come deliver you a brand new Lexus, whatever it was, their best, you know, 4-door SUV, RX 450H, I think he sent over. And he said, "We'd like you to be a Lexus driver. Why are you driving this Jeep?" I said, Probably has something to do with the price. He said, "Well, we'll make you a real special deal." And my next car was a Lexus. He made sure of it. Yeah, that was my favorite car. You know, we drove it. A 3-year lease, I think we did. And that of all the cars that we've driven at that time, I was probably 40 something. Had 20 years of driving other cars, leases, including a Jeep Grand Cherokee, which is a piece of crap, actually. Jeez. Yeah. I had one that needed, over time, over a couple of years, 5 batteries and 5 alternators. Their circuitry was so screwed up, it kept on ruining 5 batteries, either undercharged, overcharged. I don't know what. But it was not, it wouldn't charge up the battery and then go to like trickle. It would like overcharge it. I think that's what was happening. So it ended up going dead because it ruined the cell by overcharging it. So on the 5th battery, I took it back to the Cherokee dealer. I said, Marilyn, clean out the glove box, clean out everything. Get all your personal possessions out of this vehicle. Sir, to the general manager of Chrysler Motor, I don't know what. This is like a Monday or Tuesday. I said, you got to Friday to fix this. And if I don't get a call by 5 o'clock on Friday, you can keep this piece of crap, you know. And my lease deal with you guys is over. Here's the car. If you can fix it by Friday, so if that alternator is and that battery is changed out, then you guarantee me that I'm not going to be back here again for another battery or alternator. Well, let's just keep this piece of crap. Marilyn, we'll go get something else. So if I don't hear from you on Friday, on Saturday, I'm shopping for another car, and you can have this one. And I don't want to hear anything from you. Never did hear from. Never did pick up the car. I said, Marilyn, let's let's go to the Lexus dealership, and we did. We went to Mercedes or Lexus. I forget what the next car was, and we got another car on Saturday morning. Never heard a peep out of Chrysler Motors. And about 7 months later, I got a check in the mail for $635, something like that. Which I don't know what that was. Maybe it was the deposit on the lease or something. I don't know. But they did their calculation. They got the car. They took the car back, and whatever their procedure is, and sold it at auction. I don't know. Maybe it was the gross profit on the turning the thing at auction. I don't know. But never heard a word from him. I just got a check in the mail about 7 months later for $635. Craziest thing. I mean, I never went into litigation. I never did anything with the lemon law and all that. Go through all that legal shit. I said, here, the car is yours. I've been in here 5 times, 5 alternators, 5 batteries. He said, oh, yeah, I just replaced it. The service guy said, oh, yeah, this is the 12th battery I replaced today. I said, I can tell. Obviously, you got a problem. Well, my problem has been solved. You either fix it by Friday at 5 p.m. or it's yours. They never called me. Never heard a word for 7 months. All of a sudden, I got a check in the mail. That was a long time ago. We were here in Boca Raton, so sometime after 1990, that's when we moved to Boca. I'd say it's like 1996, 1998, somewhere around there. I was a I was a little big shot back then. I want to say vice chairman of the board of a bank holding company. How about that? Started out as a teller and aspired over a 30-year banking career and ended up the vice chairman of the board of a bank holding company and CEO of a state chartered commercial bank in Florida. I mean, the bank was a little bitty bank, but it was a bank. I had to follow all the, the laws and rules of the giant banks. Yeah, they don't have separate rules for little banks. Just percentages of smaller numbers. Yeah, which is we don't get a Cliff Notes version of the laws. No, we gotta read all the big books, which I did. I knew all the laws, chapter and verse. Yep. Anyway, here's a new release. My son was at a grand opening display, whatever. There's the front end of a brand spanking new electric or hybrid. I think that's what he meant. I asked him, I said, electric or gas or hybrid? Which is it? He said, electric or hybrid. Electric, comma, hybrid. So I'm not sure what he meant by that. I'll ask him tomorrow or later today, actually, Saturday. What do you mean by electric, one version, and hybrid, another version of this? Two versions of this car? Look how the front end has changed. Instead of that big black, it, it's a little black in the bottom there. Matter of fact, if you look at that Fast and Furious, it looked like the front end of a Tesla with the way the lighting has changed. The LEDs is they have the computerized focusing of the LED chip that gets really bright. Look at the screen. Ooh, nice screen. Yeah, a small steering wheel instead of this big. You have a smaller wheel with the actuators that they have to steer the car. All the lighting. I mean, yeah, I love their displays. That's the inside. Look at that wheel. Woo, that's a fancy schmancy wheel. Looks like a 20-inch, probably. Could be a 21-inch hub. I'm not a real big fan of that because you don't have a lot of rubber between, the amount of rubber between the rim and the street. So if you hit a pothole or you run into a curb, you're going to grind into that rim and louse it up. Yeah. And those are like $3,000 or $4,000 a piece. Those beautiful rims. You get the rim package. You buy like insurance on the car itself for dings and rocks and crap that happens. Yeah, that almost looks like a Tesla front end. We drive Teslas now. There's somebody getting in the way. Gives you an idea how that looks. Four-door sedan. Good looking. There you go. Here's looking at it from a little bit of a distance. We need to fix this one a little bit. Brighten that baby up. There we go. Shadows. There we go. Look at it. It's almost like you have a light bulb on there. Yeah. Now we can crank down a little bit. Deepen the blacks. Turn up the color just a little. Get back here to the shadow. Turn that up a little bit more. We don't want to see all that tile, right? We're not in the tile business. We don't want to see all that ceiling stuff either. We're not in the ceiling business. Yeah. You see these big display boards over here against the wall. I can't quite, there we go, grab that. If somebody look, there we go. We'll leave them in the picture. Now we're gonna, whoops. Yeah, let's, yeah, we don't want to do that. We want to do this one. See how that's against the wall? We're gonna see how we, perspective control. We're gonna pull that right over to the edge of the picture and do this a little bit because that board is going straight up and down, right? So that gives us a better perspective of the way that car looks. Yeah. It's the magic of digital photography. Yeah. Yeah. And we can almost like turn the car, right? Yeah, we're turning it just like that. Kind of amazing, isn't it? How you do that? You'll come right over here so we can see that wall board right there. Just, whoops. Sorry, folks. Get back to here. There we go. Gosh darn it. Trying to grab the edge of this. There we go. Trying to do this. I have to go to full screen mode. Sorry, folks. In order to grab this. There we go. There we go. Got it. Very nice. There we go. Where's that picture? There it is. There we go. I think I'm going to add it just a little further and brighten this baby up just a tad. Increase all the colors. Yeah. This is long distance. The camera was quite a distance away from the car, so there we go. I think we still have too much tile in there. Makes it a little more of a panorama. The ceiling up there looks squared off. Yeah, looks pretty good. 4 a.m. Oh my God. 4 o'clock. Yeah, it is. All right. I like it. Kind of an exciting show. Brand new 2027 model, probably. Yeah. I wonder what the numbers are, the range, if it is lithium polymer battery of some sort. If it is, yeah, electric gas hybrid, whatever. I call it ICE. Is it an ICE car? I asked him. Internal combustion engine. Got to use that ICE. that car lingo. Yeah, nice. And he went and he got inside the car. This is his photography right out of his iPhone. You can see like the front seat has been, passenger seat is like bent over a little bit so you can look right over the, quite a wheel. Nice. Nice. You look right over the shoulder of the driver if there was one in there. You can see the brake pedal and the accelerator pedal. You can see the small steering wheel. What does this say? Please do not close the windows or press the brake pedal on any vehicle. Do not press the brake pedal on any vehicle. That's interesting. But that probably turns off a screen somewhere that they're trying to show. But that's a little card sitting right in there. Don't touch the brake pedal, because that probably starts the car. You get in it, sensors notice that you're sitting in the driver's seat and you press the brake pedal, that automatically activates everything else in the car. It starts to kill the battery. In the meantime, Tesla stock has taken a tumble. Yeah, down $10 for the day and another $1.40 on after hours, down to $3.60 a share. Yep. Just in case you're interested in Tesla stock. Here it is right there. This is right off. This is the stocks, STOCKS, the stocks app on my iPad, which I'm showing on. I've got the iPad through this cable right here. That's going on behind the keyboard and coming in and coming inside the MacBook through this ports over on the side. Yeah, the magic of digital imaging and this transmission over the internet. Yep. YouTube.com/FAU4U. Be there, be square. Anyway, there's the Tesla thing. Here's the day on the graph. So I went down 10 today. It opened at 369. It closed at 3. I was down 10 for the day. Down 13 for the week. Down 36 for the month. No, it's down like 10%. As high as 413. It's down to 369. Click on here, after hour trading. Let's see. Click that Yahoo Finance tab right there. Let's see what pops up. There it is. You see, I get this paw raid advertisement. He goes, it knows we just got our little puppy through paw raid. It's almost like a dog agency for how we got our little bundle of joy. Our little Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. Tesla USA stock. After hours trading. It's 7:59:58 p.m., which basically closes out the after-hours trading on Friday night on the 27th. Yeah, number of hours ago. 360.41. So it went down another $1.40 in after-hours trading. You can see right over here in the very. There you go. 7:58, 7:59. I load the bid to ask. This is 1 day's worth of trading. That graph. It started up here and a zip. It tried to climb back and zip. By noon, after they had lunch and said, you know what, we're out of here. And they started selling off. Yeah. Yeah, when a stock drops 2.7, 3%, yeah, that's a pretty decent sell off. When you started the day, you had 100% of something, and by the end of the day, you got 97% of something. It drops 3%. Now, of course, you don't take the loss if you didn't sell it. You just hold on, just hang on. Yeah, just hang on. They don't pay dividends at Tesla. Uh, it's all growth and development and uh, cyber taxi, cyber cab, whatever they're calling that vehicle. I think cyber cab is what they're calling it. The driverless, autonomous driving. You just there's no steering wheel in the front. There's no brake pedal, no accelerator pedal. You just slide in kind of a special seating for two in a cyber cab, and they've done an analysis, and of all the ride-hailing business, 94%, I think, is somewhere just under 95. So 94% of all hailing that's done when someone calls for a cab, one or two people get in the cab. The 6% is where you have three or more people get in the cab. So they decided to deal with the 94%, not the 6%, and just have a two-seated vehicle with big trunk space in the back instead of another set of seats in the back. And you got a two-seated cab. There's rumor, conversation, that there might be a Cybercab XL, where there'd be a four-seated Cybercab. That has not been officially announced or acknowledged in any way whatsoever. It's strictly a two-seated. They're releasing, the full self-driving, autonomous, no steering wheel, no brake pedals, no side mirrors. It's all computer controlled. They got uh, 7 cameras with washers on each camera, so they can always keep the cameras clean, lenses clean, no matter what kind of weather. It's a vision system. No radar, no lidar. Strictly high resolution video cameras and very high precision. It's like 40 times more powerful than your best laptop's computer. Uh, Dual system. So in case the ship fails during your driving, there's a backup computer vehicle capacity. So you just have that extra durability of a dual computer. So if anything happened to one of the computers, the other computer takes over. Same power, same 40 time capacity of, of the best laptops made because the chip is designed to operate, the four wheels and the angle, the steering, and the braking and the acceleration of the pod of the car vehicle. Someday they'll call it a pod. Call me a pod. I'll have a pod ready for you in a few minutes. There'll be a day where you're not even going to need a car. You just call up the pod. And if you get in, you just tell it where you want to go and it'll take you there, right to the front door. The pod will either wait for you for the hour while you have lunch or another pod will get you. You know, these pods flying around, No one drives their own car anymore. The computer take you from here to there. There are no accidents anymore. Insurance is very inexpensive because all the vehicles will be computer controlled and they don't get in accidents because they can see in all directions and they make sure, yeah. In the future, the way it'd be a little messy as the automotive systems change over to this computer self-driving business. Whether it's what kind of energy you have in your fuel tank is another issue. Are you going to have gasoline? Are you going to have effervescent hydrocarbon like isooctane? That's what it is. It's a fractional distillation of petroleum known as isooctane, aka gasoline, right? It's one form of energy you can store in your fuel tank, or you can have electrons in your fuel tank stored in lithium ion packs. Typical electric car has 14 packs of cells, lithium iron phosphate cells, about 200 of them in series and parallel. So each pack produces, up to 1,000 amps at 25 volts. You multiply 25 times 14, you know what you get? 350 volts. So the typical cell that's energy, that's electric in your electric car, is a 350-volt battery array of packs. Could be 1,000 cells with the 4680 cell, or 5,000 batteries if it's the 1870 cell, which is 18 millimeters in diameter, 70 millimeters tall. 1870 was it 16? Uh, 1650, so 18650, which is 18 millimeters in diameter and 65 millimeters tall. About 5,000 of those cells in the 14 packs, each pack producing 25 volts at about 2,000 amps. You put them all in series, 14 packs, 14 times, do the math right here, clear everything, 25-volt packs times 14 of them, 650 volts. Yep. So each pack has, regardless of what kind of cells are inside the pack, whether they're flat cells, cylindrical cells, big fat ones, little skinny ones. Not so skinny. I mean, they're the smallest one is the diameter of my thumb, which is roughly 18 millimeters. 18650. You can. That's the size of the cell of. Yeah, I'll show you one right here. This battery, this flashlight. I open this up somehow. Yeah, just unscrew it. There we go. Inside here, carefully putting this piece of that. This is an 18650 cell. Produces 3.7 volts. It's not 1.5 volts, it's 3.7 volts. That's what the potential differences between the middle and the end of this. All batteries, they don't have double A's over in Europe. They have 18650 cells. that's that's the cell that Tesla started using because Panasonic was the company that they joint ventured with to build this, all the batteries over in Europe. That's what's sitting here on my desk, my little condensed studio. Don't have a lot of square foot on this desk area here, so everything's inside or on top of something else. Yeah. Anyway, so that's how that's why these supercharger stations are charging these batteries. So the electric motors that run your typical electric car, the batteries are, pretty much 350 volt batteries, DC. So a supercharger station, can produce, 250,000 watts, watt, 250 kW at 350 volts. So if you pull up to a charging station, say, fill them up, instead of gallons of hydrocarbon, known as gasoline, I need 50 kilowatts of power. So they put in 50 kilowatts of energy into your fuel tank. You can call it a battery if you want to. It's a battery of cells, an array of cells. Who cares how it is? Uh, it's basically a power pack that's holding electrons with a potential difference of 350 volts. And that's what runs the electric motors. They're 350 volt DC motors. Well, they're not exactly DC motors. They use 350 volts DC power, but it actually, um, in the world of Tesla, the electric motors are frequency controlled Alternating current motors. Yeah, they kind of use the 350-volt battery uh, to to produce electric energy that gets put into an electrical circuit where high frequency alternating current is applied to a multi-pole motor, a three-phase, you know, electric motor design, and they use these power cells to produce a. So when you depress the accelerator or the computer uh, advances the accelerator autonomously, staying within traffic and not mobilizing the car past the speed limits. You know, the computer can control all that because the speed limits in the mapping system of the car to make sure that, and the GPS, so forth, will make sure that the visual system makes sure the car stays on between the lines, as they say, on the road, on the right side of the highway, instead of over in Europe, it's the left side of the highway. Over here, it's the right side. It's calling up the pod to take you wherever you want to go. Is the computer knows which side of the road to drive on, depending on which continent you're on. See, so if you don't have a steering wheel and you don't have an accelerator pedal or a brake pedal, you don't have to worry about all that stuff. The computer will figure out what side of the road it's supposed to be on. If you're in North America, you're on the right side of the highway. If you're over in Europe, generally, you're on the left side of the highway, except if you're in certain countries, yeah, where they prefer the American system rather than the English system. Japan uses the American system. Not too sure. I think China also uses. I think you're on the right side of the highway in China. I think. I actually don't know that for sure. Hey Siri, which side of the highway does one drive if they're driving in China? It says China. The answer I found is right. Right. Right side of the road. All right. That was a quick and simple and sweet answer. Right. Okay. Thank you. My pleasure. Well, yeah, the computer talks to you. Thank you and good night. Yeah. All right. So I thought I saw cars driving on the right side of the highway if you're in China. Let's see what the New York Post cover looks like since we're playing. It's 4:30 in the morning. Holy shit. Whoops, excuse me. Covers. Tiger in the rough. Poor Tiger. He got in another accident. Oh my God, he looks terrible. They put him in jail for driving under the influence of something. Another, yeah. Remember, he had a terrible accident. He flipped the car over, went down, broke his leg in all kinds of places. Oh my God. 2022 or 2021, 4 years ago or so. Damn. Woods rolls car. Another DUI, driving under the influence. Uh-huh. We'll say that. Then we'll go to the picture. Picture. There it is. Put a star on it to make it check the heart up on the top to make sure it's in my favorites. Let's do a little fast image editing here. You don't mind? We're down here. See how we just turn up, turn up the color a little bit. What else we got to do? The shadows. This is a cover of a newspaper, so we have to get this balanced properly. I think that's as good as we're going to get it. I guess I could go down here to turn up the, what do you call it, the sharpness just a tad. All right, we'll do that. So now let's Tiger in the. These guys are great with the headlines. So this is the Saturday morning, uh, March 28th edition. This is like a magazine newspaper that's, like 14-inch size. Tiger Woods. I'm doing a look. That's the booking photo. He doesn't look too good in there, does he? I think I'll do a print screen of this so we don't have to do that again. There we go. Come over here and grab what that looks like. So it makes this like a full screen of that. I hit the check mark and go. Save the photos. Go back to my photo album. Get rid of this. What's going on there? Excuse me. Close out that. Get rid of that. Get all these windows open there. We're done with that. We don't need that. There we go. So we're back to, so now we're in the photo album. And then, there we go. Tiger Woods makes a phone call above, crawling out from his rolled over car yesterday in Martin County, Florida. It's the third public car accident and the second DUI arrest for the troubled golf superstar. Okay, well, that's, so he's over there making a phone call, I guess, or in the blue shorts. Hey, I need a ride because I rolled over my, whatever the hell this is. This is a Land Rover or something. Can't really tell what kind of car it is. Nice bottom, nice and smooth, fast. Kind of hard to, what the heck did you do to flip the car over on the side like that? There was no other car so he didn't hit another car. He didn't hit a tree. So what kind of a maneuver was he doing that flipped the car? Yes, he's on some kind of pills. He didn't. He blew. I think he blew in a thing and didn't score any alcohol. So it could be wacky weed. Driving under the influence of, they don't care what, but you obviously are impaired. That's driving under the influence. That's how the Florida laws are written, so that they don't care if it's alcohol or marijuana or this drug, that drug, uppers, downers. They got so many different things that people can take. He's had all kinds of problems with pain. He broke his leg in all kinds of different ways when he got into an accident a few years ago. Same thing, flipped a car, but it went down into a ravine, so the car actually went airborne over a small hill and it flipped over. He was coming around a turn and the car went right off the road. It literally went airborne. Came down and crashed. He got crashed in it, broke his leg in a bunch of places. Took, he's a golf athlete, a superstar, as they say. So he had unbelievable. Um, he had the best, orthopedic surgeons putting his leg back together. Now he's rolled over another car under the influence of something, standing behind that fire hydrant back there. He's on the phone. He got his cell phone out, calling for help, hanging in there near the hedge. Yeah, the car's, car's sitting on the side. Oh boy. Woods rolls car and another DUI. They locked him up. They put him in. They put him in jail. They're like a minimum of 8 hours. So at this hour, he may have been picked up, and you know, out on bond. Call his corporate lawyer up and say, "Hey, get me the hell out of here." They DUI is serious business. You get mothers against drunk driving, mad. A lot of people get killed with drivers like this that they're speeding their fancy cars and hitting other cars and killing children. You know, 16, 17, 18. Hey, look, if you're a parent and you spend 18, 20 years of your life teaching a kid how to everything, schooling and this and that, and all of a sudden they come in contact with someone that's driving a car under the influence of whatever, and they snuff out that life of that 20-year-old or that 18-year-old or that 17-year-old or 30-year-old, whatever. You know, um, where you're either killed or you're maimed and you're crippled or particularly these wealthy people, for God's sakes. They have the ability to be driven by a chauffeur anywhere they want to be. But, I want to drive my car. Well, then don't be under the influence. Let the computer drive the car for you. Uh, not to be, I don't want anyone to follow me, but um, Marilyn and I went to lunch one Saturday and had, 3.5 glasses of white wine, Sauvignon Blanc. Had a nice lunch celebrating something. Oh, my birthday. That's right. I was March 20 was my birthday. So we had a celebratory birthday lunch, Marilyn and myself. We've been together since 1980. That's 46 years ago. February 22nd, 1980. Can you imagine? Ouch. I know the day. I know the hour. I remember my first encounter with Marilyn. Oh, what a rock star she was. Mm. She walks in a room and everyone looks at her. Who is this person? Wow. Yeah. Who's that schmuck she's walking with? Yes, that's Jimmy. Yes, sir, Bob. I got lucky. I sure did. She is a real, she really can attract a lot of attention. Nothing like living with a beautiful woman your whole life. And she's, spectacular in every other way, too. She's a smart cookie. She's got it all. Here we are, Saturday, March 28th. Look at that, episode 581. Can you imagine? That's that's terrible. What do I do? I sit here talking about whatever the hell I feel like talking about. People text message me and say, "Hey, what's going on with this or that?" Or I have, some of these devices where you can almost see underneath the microphone here. There we go. See here. There's the weather. It's 70 degrees, mostly clear. High of 83 today. Low of 69, according to my little device here. Anyway, the Dow has dropped to 45,167. Tesla stock has dropped to $361.83. And NVIDIA. So you can set this up in your device where I have these two stocks that are displayed and the Dow. So you can have three items up there on the top. And then the bottom is Dow confirms correction as traders worry about, you got this oil business because, what's going on in Iran. Yeah. So makes the stock market nervous about what the price of oil is going to be. It's trading, I think oil is trading about $95 a barrel. Hey Siri, what is oil trading at? Crude today. Yeah, all right. Let's see what it says here. Commodities market business. There we go. $99 a barrel. Up 516. Up, see the spike? That's when Trump started dropping bombs on Iran. Right there, yeah. 3 weeks ago. Whoosh, price of oil went up from looks like about $65 a barrel up to nine. It's up 50% jump in the price of oil. So I can go right across here and see the price of oil, the trading. This is yeah. A little story about oil and historical price. Uh, a barrel of oil is like 55-gallon drum. Yeah, of petroleum. Sweet crude, as they call it. Look at that. With this computer-driven. Anyway, so I was circling back to having lunch with Marilyn, celebrating my birthday. I don't know. I had a couple of, had a couple of glasses of wine. So I said, you know what, Marilyn? I might be slightly impaired. Let's let the computer take us home. So I put it on. It's a Tesla car. Every Tesla car made after I think March of 2001, has high definition cameras all the way around and high speed computer, hardware version 4, they call it. So I put the thing on autopilot and push the word home. I said, "Are you buckled up? Got the seatbelts on? Doors closed?" The air conditioning system is operating nice and cool. Take the handicap thing off the hanging from the rear view mirror. I said, "All right, I'm going to push start, and this thing is going to take us home." We parked right near the front door in the handicap spot. I, I said, "You ready? It's going to take us home." I pushed start. Sure the hell it took us home. She said, "Well, what are you going to do with your hands?" I said, "I'm going to have my left arm up on the armrest up here with a window, and the right hand is going to be right on my knee right here. And no foot's on the brake pedals or the accelerator. And this car is going to steer itself and take us home because it's 7 times safer than the average human driver." Yep. So the car took us home, took us right to the entry garage of our 9-story apartment building that we live in, Royal Palm Place. So the only driving I did is in the garage. Now I understand with the latest software version, which is like 75% loaded, I need to load the rest of that update and then install that update. Probably do that tomorrow or later today. So, uh, that's it. Anyway, so the price of oil is up. Gasoline prices are up about $1 a gallon for if you're using a petroleum product to propel your car. I do like that kind of language when we're talking about vehicles and which kind of energy you have in your fuel tank. You know, in my fuel tank, I store electrons. Most, you know, 93% of drivers in North America have internal combustion engines uh, that create the kinetic power to propel one's vehicle. Speaking like an academician, a biochemist that I am, we have we store electrons in our fuel tank. So when we pull up to a charging station, we ask for kilowatts. I'll take 45 kilowatts if you don't mind. And how many gallons of isooctane do you care for? And how many kilowatts do you need? 45 kilowatts will do. Cost yeah, $2 or $3 for 45 kilowatts. Gasoline, on the other hand, costs $40. Cost me 5 or 6. It's about 25%. It's 75% cheaper to store electrons as opposed to storing hydrocarbons, isooctane, aka gasoline. I'll have 20 gallons of gasoline, please. Oh, I'll have 45 kilowatts of electrons, please. Amazing, isn't it? I want watts. Amps times volts equals watts. So high amps, low voltage, high voltage, low amps, whatever. Kilowatts is a kilowatt's a kilowatt. You can do the amp volt conversion any way you want. Our batteries are basically 350-volt batteries. So you plug in, putting in electrons with a potential difference of 350 volts. That's the language. That's the vernacular for people that are familiar with electric energy in vehicles. It's like an industrial standard of, 350 volt, electric motors, electric storage systems, batteries, whatever. Yeah. So when I talk to people, I talk about your fuel tank. What do you put in your fuel tank? Electrons or gallons of fractionally distilled hydrocarbons like isooctane? You want high test or low test? What the hell does that mean? Well, you have a slightly more aromatic hydrocarbon. There's a slight mix. It's You have a mix of hydrocarbons with gasoline. It's not octane. Methane, ethane, propane, butane, you know, heptane, octane, hexane, pentane. Yeah, yeah, you got all these anes, yeah, aromatic hydrocarbon. When a barrel of oil that they pump out of the ground is this black, it's a black slurry of, tar, loose tar, it's depending. You have, Brent sweet crude. They have different nomenclatures for, what kind of oil you hit when you're taking it out of the ground. What is oil? Oil is, a bunch of trees and green and biological material, plant and animal that's underground, that's buried and compressed with thousands, tens of thousands, millions of years of compression and, decomposition and rotting, right to the point where it's all liquefied hydrocarbons. Uh, they call it sweet crude oil, mix of hydrocarbons. So they boil it in a fractional distillation tower, and up, the bottom is like, diesel fuel, and you come up a little bit and kerosene, jet fuel number two. It's in the kerosene family, and then you get higher up the distillation tower, and you end up with the methane, ethane, propane, butane, isooctane. Well, the isooctane is gasoline that we use in the internal combustion engines. It's very careful temperature that comes up the fractional distillation chamber, like 180 degrees centigrade, something like that. That's a little bit of a guess. I don't know why 183 pops into my head. A long time ago, I used to engineer some of those plants as exercises that we did in our chemistry uh, as a chemistry major. Yeah, we had to learn all about fractional distillation plants. Go figure. Turned out to be a banker. Makes no sense, does it? Yeah. They didn't have a major in banking. Uh, Why did I do chemistry? Because generally was interested in it. Didn't really have a notion of having a career in chemistry, so I didn't. Uh, I also became very interested in programming computers, the early computers. The real early computers, you wired a big pegboard that plugged in the back end of an IBM computer. Yeah, a computer at IBM 403 was the model I used to program. I taught a class on it. Can you believe it? How to wire an IBM, how to program an IBM 403 computer accounting machine. You know, they called it. It's huge. It was like two refrigerators turned on its side. It had electric motors and oil and ball bearings. A big accounting machine. It's unbelievable. And you program this on the left side of it. It had a big pegboard. It's like 18 by 30-inch board. And you take the wires and go the input from here to the output of there. And oh my God. Jeez. And you use these wires. You have different length wires, different color coded wires with sockets. So you literally program the computer by wiring a pegboard. So if you're going to do this kind of accounting, you'd have these pegboards on a wall, and you pick them off the wall and put them on the back end of the machine. This big lever, you put that. That's how programming was a long time ago. It seems crazy, but that's so. At Union College, they had a class in it, so I was like the lab instructor for a year, and then the head of the computer sciences department said, "Hey, would you like to teach a class of this? You've taken the class. You were top of the class, both classes. Why don't you teach the entry level class of this?" I said, "Sure, I'd be happy to," which I did. And 20 students or something in there. You know, then I'll show you a picture. See if I can show you a picture of Jimmy a long time ago. Uh, let's go to collections. Let me see if I can. Ah, here we go. Recents. Here we go. This one. That's Jimmy. Yours truly. And this is a Burroughs big mainframe. Look at the size of that cabinet. It's basically your double door refrigerator with control knobs. Um, Now here I'm running a computer program. See this whole deck of cards. It's in this drawer, but you got all the cards stacked up in there. It's a computer program. Those punch cards is a line of code, 80, 80 columns of punches representing, your alphanumeric characters. This is like a teletype, and stuff comes off here. It tells you, then here's a printout. There's a printer machine somewhere else in this room. Oops. Yeah. This right there is a disk drive. The upper cabinet, lower cabinet. It's like 3.5 megabytes per disk. Big 14-inch. Looks like an LP record, but it had magnetic material on it. Spinning at 3,000 RPM with those little reader head that unbelievable. That installation right there is about, let's lift up on the picture. Jim Wilson with a B2700 circa 1973, $150,000 setup. That's what's right there. You can see the column caption right there. It's in the exit data of the image. So in uh, an Apple operating system, when you're looking at a picture, if it's an authentic original picture. See, it says Fort Lauderdale, March 20, 1973, 3:57 p.m. in the afternoon. You see right underneath the ticker tape. I can pull it down, I think. Let's pull this whole thing down and go back to this picture. There you go. Now you can see March 20, 1973. That's my birthday. Yeah. So I'm 28 years old. Yeah. The hairstyle of the day. I don't know what kind of day that is. 1973. I think you can even tell where it is. Yeah, look at that. Northwest 62nd Street, Cypress Creek Road. I think the address is 800 Northwest 62nd Street. Yep. So it actually pinpoints the GPS data. Um, so this is colorized. I think this is, yeah, $250,000, 1975. Thing upgraded. Thursday, March 20. That's a Thursday. Yeah. I'm like a senior guy in the company. You can tell I'm not like a suit and no suit. Didn't need a suit and coat. I'm in an air conditioned, especially air conditioned room with a floor. Air conditioning comes up underneath the floor and pumps up into the cabinet from the floor to keep that sucker cool. I think it had like 128K of memory. This this iPad has 30 billion. Yeah. Let's look. I forget. Let's go here to about. It's 2 terabytes of storage. It doesn't. I think it's 16 gigabytes. It's either 12 or 16 gigabytes. It really doesn't tell you the memory. Um, hey Siri, how much random access memory is in an iPad 13 M5 iPad?
I found this on the web.
There you go. I was correct. It's somewhere. Um, yeah, 12 or 16 gigabytes of memory. I think the way Apple does it, is if you get the 1 or 2 terabyte version, you get 16 gigabytes of memory. Whereas if you take the 256 of the 512 gigabyte of storage, you get the 12 gigabytes of memory. Yeah, that's correct with that. 12 megapixel camera, Wi-Fi 7. 5.3 millimeters. There it is, right here. 5 millimeters. Look at that cabinet up there. Look at that picture I just showed you. Oh, God. Oops. What's that picture? Yeah, 128K in that one. I got 16 gigabytes in this thing that's 5 millimeters thick. Look at that cabinet. I mean, and that's $250,000 for that setup. So this iPad is like $2,000. A typewriter is $2,000. This electric Burroughs typewriter that's connected to this system. Yeah, this keyboard punch thing. Yeah, it's like $12,000. I would have a lady, one of my helper assistants. I'd give her this, uh, pages of this computer program, and she typed the cards. And a big deck of cards that goes in there and comes out this end. And she stacks them up in these trays. They run the program. All these cards get fed in through this card reader puncher setup right here. That's, like I say, $12,000 for that piece. This double disk storage thing, that's like $20,000 or $30,000 cabinet. Now the memory chip is something you can barely see. I got a 500 gigabyte little card that's in here. It's it's the size of your fingernail. 500 gigabytes. This is 128 mega. Big card that slides in there. Some guy, some Burroughs guy, you have to schedule him in. Costs, like $2,000 to have him plug in this board and check it out and install the software. And, yeah, yeah, and of course you have to book this guy. Yeah, it costs $2,000 to plug in an extra 128K of memory. So I'd have, I think it was 256 megabytes. Does it say here? Uh, it doesn't say. It just says $250. The Burroughs 27. It's a couple $100,000. I know. I remember convinced my boss we needed it. We were like in a headquarters where we had 5 states reporting in over the internet. That was a very sophisticated system. Burroughs, watched us very carefully because we were one of the few interstate commercial businesses that was online with 5 multi-million-dollar stores. Yeah. So I was director of operations to get all that connectivity up and running. So I was like a IT guy. That's what they would call it today. Back then, director of operations. I handled, if it wasn't accounting and it wasn't sales, then I did everything else. So I handled service, I handled all this networking, this computer business. So I interfaced with the accounting department, with the sales department. I was like the bridge between. Yep. I was working on a HR, human resource program. Keep track of our employees in 5 different states. We had like 1,000 employees. So that's fairly decent sized business. Had white shoes. They look like golf shoes. I don't know what the hell kind of shoes they were. They're like white loafers. Back in the days, some white loafers was a thing to wear. With a striped shirt. I was, into weightlifting. I was lean and mean, so to speak. Little, little tiny, very slight, portly. A little extra inch all the way on my waist that could be somewhere else. Anyway, so that's a black and white, and that's a colorized version of that picture right there. So green buttons apparently. And zeroes in on the skin and the white. Get the white factor. So grayscale can be converted to color. That looks like about the way I remember it should be looking. Sputnik satellite. Not too sure what that picture is. I took pictures of USA soccer. These soccer guys. That was some plaque that was given to the Royal Crown or whatever. It's given from him to him. I took the picture. There's some soccer practice. There we are. There's some walking around in London. Can I get exit out of here? Nope. Some cameras didn't put it in. How about this? July 25th, 2002 at 12:21 p.m. I remember being there. These girls are of the best. Yeah. Looks like a Norwegian girl. Look at the coloration. Blue eyes, blonde hair. Very attractive young ladies. And a goalie. This is a match. A real match. Look at these two. That's 11:39 a.m. on July 26th. I was there. I took the picture. 400th of a second, 6 megapixel image. That was one of the best electronic cameras made. EOS D60. This is a marching band. November 9th, 2002. Same year. JPEG thing with a D60. Look at the skin color, it's beautiful. I was right in front of her. Yeah, I was doing stuff for crime lab stuff. January 6, 2003 at 10 p.m. I don't think so. I don't think the system clock was right. That may have been when I edited the image, but that's not when that was taken. Here's 2003. Football, it should be in the afternoon, 11 a.m. All right, could be. This was right after 9/11. No? Hmm. Well, here's a picture I was talking about last night. Or, no, yeah, it's 6 p.m. today. I was talking about this image with somebody that lives in this project on the second floor. This is the grand opening, March 5th, 2003. I'm up on like the 7th or 8th floor. I took this picture here. My D60 again, yeah. Looking down on the common area. Yeah. That's a wider angle. See, there's the bank end of the building. That's actually across the street. This is a pool on the 6th level. There's 5 stories below that pool. Magnificent. I'm on the 5th level now there. Palmetto Place. March 5th, 2003. It's a cocktail party. It's like a service bar. Few people early. They're probably contractors or whatever built the building. All right. Whoa, B-52 landing. B-1B bomber. There we go, Fort Lauderdale Air Show. Yeah, I took these pictures. Marching band. Look at the faces. Gorgeous. Yeah, wow. Hmm. Satellite telemetry. Electric bike. I have one. A Velec. V-E-L-E-C. Yeah. I have a black one. They have these, there's black next to green. Green, black, blue, orange. The yellow one. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different flavors. There's a big battery that fits under the seat. Motor in the rear hub. There's some lifestyle pictures. Whoa, snow. There's my logo. Health and wellness creates great images. All right, sports fans, it's 5 a.m. I've been yakking around here for 2 hours and 34 minutes. It's about 5:15 a.m. It's about time to be done here. Gonna go stretch out on the couch, I guess. Where's my little puppy dog? She's asleep somewhere in there. Look at that. The lights didn't go up here. All right. So now, by custom, I end with the same image I started with. And I go to full screen. I'm going to wave goodbye. Bye-bye. You see the side of me. I don't have a front-facing camera. I got the cameras over here in the side pocket. Takes got a picture of my fantastic super duper fragilistic SM7B Shure microphone. It's the best in the business. Yeah. Compact little studio, but I got really good equipment. Got a MacBook Pro, the Air edition of MacBook Pro, 15-inch screen, diagonal, 32 gigabytes of storage of memory, live memory to run the programs, and 2 terabytes of storage. I think two. Let's do a little system search here. Quick one. Uh, Storage. Oh God. Yeah, 2 terabytes. I'm using 479. I'm using, you can see up here. Oh, you know, you can't see. I'm sorry. I've got 2 terabytes of storage and 32 gigabytes. If I could just come up here, Apple, um, about the Mac, yeah. 32 gigabyte M4 chip, 2 terabyte. Yeah, that's what we got. It's, uh, there's no fans, nothing. It's just got a fancy array inside here. The cabinet up, the chip is up here up on the top edge underneath the keyboard. Like digits 3, 4, 5. I've measured the temperature of that. It runs around 90 degrees. Where the total cabinet down here is about 75 or 80 degrees. It's 66 degrees in the studio. This little studio thing, this den. It's, I don't know, 10 foot by 12 foot den room, which Marilyn and I divided in half. She's got the south half, I have the north half of I'd say 10 by 12 room. Got pictures on that wall, pictures on this wall, cabinets there, and the doorway there, double doors there. Yeah. Anyway, here we are. So, getting ready to shut it down. 2 hours and 39 minutes of yakking here. Our pre-dawn edition, episode 581. Imagine 581 episodes. Somewhere between 1 and 4 hours, depending on how intoxicated I was. Yeah, with my own verbosity. Verbosity. Yeah, I'm intoxicated with my own verbosity. Yeah. So I'm going to say nighty night or good morning. So if you're an insomniac, come on, lay down, take a nap, get up at 9 a.m. and be productive. Do something. In time, I'm going to say bye bye, and we'll catch up with you probably Sunday morning, maybe. I have a lunch date with our son here at noon downstairs in Lemongrass. Good night or good morning, depending on whether you're just waking up or you're still up from yesterday. Sure, you're still working on Friday that moved into Saturday. Thanks for joining. These episodes are recorded, I guess forever in the internet. YouTube.com/FAU for you. The backslash, that's right. Yeah, near the question mark on your keyboard there. It's actually a backslash, yeah. I just say slash. There isn't another slash on the keyboard, I don't think. Oh, I guess there is. Up there in row 4. Remember typing class when you're in 7th grade? ASDFG semicolon LKJH POIUY QWERT. Remember that in typing class? You had to memorize the keyboard. Yeah. ASDFG semicolon LKJH. That's the middle line where you have your fingers on the keyboard. Yeah. Come on. Even I remember that. Okay, sports fans. Have a great day. Good night.